has the American presidential election changed throughout the decades? While there have been many changes, good and bad, to the presidential election, I have brought attention to a few key changes. They include the process of picking the president and vice president, the role of the first ladies, the political parties, and the electoral college. Therefore, I have focused in on those topics to see how or if they have changed, and if so, how. History began in 1789 when George Washington was elected as the first president of the United States. Here's a short overview from the History Channel.
And on this date in 1789, America's Electoral College was voted into existence. Presidential candidates could not reach the country's isolated citizenship. So each of the 13 states elected an electoral college that would vote for president. 1 month later, the 69 electors voted in George Washington.
After George Washington came John Adams in 1796. When votes came in 1796, it was fairly close between the Democratic, Republicans, and Federalists. Adams got 65 votes, and Pinckney got 64 votes. Therefore, they were the president and vice president. However, this brings up a major presidential difference with past elections compared to present elections. How was the vice president chosen? Well, until 1804, when the 12th Amendment to the Constitution was ratified. Currently, the vice president is chosen the same way as the president is chosen. However, if no vice president candidate receives an electoral college majority, then the Senate selects the vice president. If we were to go back to the old way, think about who would be president and vice president now. That would be President Donald Trump and Vice President Hillary Clinton. That particular pairing can show us how many disagreements the president and vice presidents would have gotten into in the past. First ladies have changed in numerous ways throughout the presidential elections. While once seen as the beautiful wives of presidents who hosted gatherings and occasionally gave helpful advice, there have been more and more first ladies who take charge themselves and focus on things that they want to make an impact on. Eleanor Roosevelt served as the First Lady for over 12 years. She was very influential during the Great Depression and World War II. She also spent much time helping her husband by advising him and ended up being the First Lady to hold her very own press conference. Even after her husband Franklin D. Roosevelt's death, Eleanor continued to be in the national and world spotlight and ended up serving as chair of the United Nations Commission on Human Rights. While Jackie Kennedy served as the First Lady for less than 3 years, she still was able to make an impact on the American society. After her husband, John F. Kennedy, was assassinated during a parade, she was a big help and supported the grief-stricken nation in a major way. Laura Bush was a former teacher and a librarian who decided to focus on children's education as a main goal. As one of her First Lady duties, she was not just a pretty wife to President Bush that hosted parties and gave advice, but she launched Ready to Read, Ready to Learn during her first term as the First Lady. While First Lady, Hillary Clinton was a big advocate for healthcare reform. She also supported businesses such as Planned Parenthood in support of children's and women's issues. She also had a nice political career after leaving the White House. Overall, Hillary Clinton has been the First Lady, a New York Senator, Secretary of State, and ran for president and was the official Democratic representative for the 2016 presidential election. Michelle Obama made a huge impact and advocated for a numerous amount of causes during her time as the First Lady. She worked on veterans' wellness and the education of and for young women. However, the major impact dealt with the issue of childhood obesity. She launched a program called Let's Move, encouraging kids to stay active and keep moving. Public school lunches also changed and had to become healthier and more nutritious due to the Michelle Obama program. Here is a video from Easter when there was a dance for the 5-year anniversary of the Let's Move campaign.
Hallelujah, girl, sit your hallelujah, 'cause Uptown Funk don't give it to you, 'cause Uptown Funk don't give it to you, 'cause Uptown Funk don't give it to you. Saturday night and we in the spot, don't believe me, just watch.
Another major difference in presidential elections relates to the Democrat and Republican parties, what they used to be and what they are considered now. Regarding presidential elections, it has not always been Republican, Democrats, and independent parties. There have been other parties such as the Whigs, Federalists, and Democrat-Republican Party all together as one. The Democratic-Republican Party ended up dissolving in 1825 after the election of Andrew Jackson. The Whig Party was also big until after the Civil War, when it decided to split over the issue of slavery and eventually faded away. Anti-slavery Democrats then founded the Republican Party with former Whigs and members of small 19th century parties. After the Civil War, the Republican Party was a dominant national party in favor of Reconstruction, greater rights for freed slaves, and they were also supporters of imperialism, business, and the gold standard. However, the Democratic Party got bad in the South. There was resentment from white Southerners toward freed slaves, carpetbaggers, and scalawags, and therefore it led into the Jim Crow laws. Moving on from the topic of political parties, the Electoral College has not changed much, but it does play a major role in how elections have changed over the years and the certain outcomes of presidents and vice presidents we have had. According to the History Channel, here's the definition of what the Electoral College is.
Every 4 years, we go to the polls to vote for the nation's chief executive, the president. During campaign season, we hear a lot of talk about something called the Electoral College. But what exactly is this college, and how does it work? Well, it's not a college at all, but a process. It's how Americans elect a president and vice president every 4 years. Who came up with this process? None other than our founding fathers, the framers of the Constitution. Under this system, Americans do not actually vote directly for a president and vice president. Instead, they select a group of people who have pledged to vote for their chosen candidate. These people are known as electors. So why not just vote for the candidate directly? The founding fathers thought that it would be too chaotic and prone to error, and instead designed the Electoral College system. Here's how it works. Each U.S. state gets a different number of electors, equal to the number of that state's U.S. senators, always 2, plus its number of U.S. representatives, determined by the size of the state's population. Who are these electors? In most cases, political parties choose them based on party service and loyalty. The vast majority of U.S. states have a winner-take-all system. Whoever wins the most popular votes in that state gets all of the state's electoral votes. Like many compromises, the Electoral College system is not perfect. It's got one major quirk. The candidate who wins the presidency may not be the one who gets the most popular votes. This has happened several times in history. Rutherford B. Hayes in 1876, Benjamin Harrison in 1888, and George W. Bush in 2000. Despite its quirks, the Electoral College has proved to be a solid, lasting compromise and remains one of the many stable foundations laid out by America's founding fathers.
While the Electoral College is still in use by the United States of America, many people think that it should change and we should come up with a better way of voting for the presidents. In conclusion, although things have stayed the same throughout the years regarding the presidential elections, many things have changed, some for the bad, but mostly for the good. And while it is nearly impossible to have a solution to make the presidential election process please everyone in America, changes of processes and rules have made the presidency more equal and fair. America has a very strong, powerful, and reliable government thanks to the president and those who are involved. The only question is if President Trump, as well as the future presidents, will strengthen or weaken the power of the United States. And while the process of the Electoral College could be much better, it is up to the people of America to help choose who gets the honor and role to represent our great country.